Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Yesterday doesn't matter, it only serves as a ladder. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, so make your plans accordingly. Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Grand Rising. Today is a new day to start again. It is 5/28/2025. Ain't nobody watching anyways, but I did take about 4 days, 5 days off of videos. I went on a trip. It was probably one of the most important trips of my life. It was my daughter's graduation, high school graduation. My eldest, my natural eldest daughter, and then my other daughter's B-day as well. I had my middle daughter. I have 4 daughters. I've got an old car. I've changed jobs. I'm down on my luck. Knocked down to my knees. There's not much empathy from anyone, really, about what I went through. Looking at these people, there's no way that they could have handled what I've been through. But it is what it is. I just keep moving along. I have a car that has some brake issues and it's older, and I just need to be gentle with this car. I really didn't want to take it on a long journey. So I decided to, I'm not in a position right now to rent a car. We'll just put it that way, which would have been the best way to go about things. But I needed to figure out a way to get to from Kokomo to St. Louis. So, and I had a very small budget, and I needed to make sure I made this trip. The really tricky part was it's Memorial Day weekend, which is probably one of the busiest weekends of the year for furniture sales. I don't know if that's true anymore, but that at one time was pretty true. But regardless, it doesn't really matter. You just have to move forward with your life and follow what you're supposed to do. And I needed to go to my daughter's graduation. I wanted to be there for her, and I needed to be there for that moment. And I really have been in a very neglectful place in my life as far as my fatherhood. So it was important for me to make this trip, regardless of the circumstances, come hell or high water, as people would say. So I got a Greyhound bus, and that was pretty inexpensive. That was only $68. And I bought that pretty early on in the situation when I knew that I was going to be limited funds for this situation. And then I also got my Airbnb settled once I knew and confirmed everything. So that was $300. It was $368 basically for the trip, but I needed to get from Indianapolis to Indianapolis. And then I didn't think about the fact that the Uber trip from where I was landing in St. Louis was so far away. I should have thought about that better. Because then what I did is I took on 2 Uber charges, which basically were $115 per trip, there and back, total, including tip and everything. I totaled everything up. So basically, or somewhere in that I got the full total of my guesstimate of what it was $612. I think I could cut that down either with a ride to, or I think there's a bus that does go from Kokomo there, and then there's probably a bus that goes, or some kind of transportation that goes from St. Louis to St. Peter's. So once I figure that out, I could probably cut it down to like $400. And then that's doable for 4 days stay. $400, you could probably get it to $450, $500. I bet I could get the trip down to $500 for 5 days. So, I mean, that's not too bad. That's doable. I could do that once a month easy on pretty limited income. So I felt good about that. And I also could probably get to the point where they could do that too. We live in a safe enough society where you could do that as long as you don't do it. I went at like 2:30 in the morning on my back, and I don't know that I'll do that again. And also there's a train, Amtrak, which I'm going to start utilizing too. I guess my final point away from all this was it was a very difficult trip for the first time, but I think as I do it more, I'll get better at it. And I don't really think you need a car if you don't want one. For anyone keeping score out there, I've made about $3,000 a month for the last 3 months in an inflation society. It's been pretty tough sledding. I think it might be a little more than that. I'm probably not correct on that. I think it might be 4,000. I don't know. I don't want to get too personal about my income, but it's not been a strong income for me recently. The last 3 months I've been struggling a lot with just trying to improve. And I made a change I thought would improve going into a different situation with my employment, hoping that I could improve a lot of it is you got to enjoy going to work first. And second, you have to be able to feel like you're moving forward. And if you're in an employment situation where you feel like you're not, it is very strugglesome for you and your ego. So you have to just figure out a way to, but I'm pretty sure I've stepped backwards. So I just need to be very diligent moving forward. It's no big deal. There's a lot of different ways I have to keep grounding myself and realize that we live in a society now where there's a lot of different ways you can make income. And you can start at any time. So, and you can compound your income pretty fast if you know how to do it right. So I'm not that alarmed about my financial situation. I'm just still getting myself back into it. Anyways, I got to spend time with my girls. I focused on being present, and I can't make up for lost time. My major thing when I was thinking about when I was on this trip going in, was I knew that I can't come in there and be an Aries and just try to be dad, because I've lost that right. So what I tried to do was, but I want to stay on my script here. Very early, my youngest daughter came out basically and said, you should be reaching out to us more. And she did it perfectly and it was really the way she did it. I couldn't be defensive. And she did it in front of one of the other sisters and a cousin. So I was kind of put on the spot, but I gained so much from that because that's a pretty easy fix. I can't explain this all in a sitting, but if I'm given time and that's what you're wanting, then we can definitely make that work. I don't know that it's my responsibility to explain how this all happened to me and why. I can be with them as who I am. That's my main thing, is I just need to be who I am, which is my home, which is what I've been trying to work on. But you can't say that to teenage girls. So I have to figure out a way to explain it in a way that they'll understand, which is really not my responsibility either. I'm just trying to be there for them and enjoy the moments. If I can define my life moving forward, it will be home. That's what I want to do, is create my home for anyone. But particularly fond of my daughters, obviously. I want to make a home for them if they want to come to it. But ultimately, I'm trying to make a home for anyone to come to. I give opportunity for you to chase your dreams. That's what I want to be able to do. I give the mother of my children all of the credit. She can have it all. My girls are amazing, the best of the best. And I guess they're her girls. Whatever, they carry my last name and my blood. They remember that I lost my apartment. I had my car repossessed and was forced to relocate, with pretty much everyone around me was saying that I am mentally ill and a drug addict. I was a marijuana drug addict is what was the basic premise of my collapse, and that I was delusional. And maybe you think that too. Certainly my decisions I am certainly not the same man I was. I had a financial collapse. It's not as rare as it's been portrayed. There are narratives. You know what? I'm not going to explain the dangers of gossip anymore. I think one of my best videos I've had was I really focused on gossip. I need to work on it myself, though. Practice not gossiping. Don't do it. Process. Move on. Today is a new day to start again. The trip was an overall success. I need to make sure moving forward that I fully involve myself using technology with my daughters. My life is moving forward. I want to work on home. Mind, body, soul. Oil, blood, breath. I want to refine my message, simplify, dumb it down, keep it simple, stupid. What can I do today? What should I do today? What will I do today? What did I do today? Start again. Repeat. Moment to moment with love. I think love is the one that you really should center on. That's what all of these different things always come back to. That's what you're trying to find when you go to that home, when you're trying to get into that really ancient idea. It's love is it's not sacrifice, it's faith. It's faith that you can sit like that, and as long as you are in harmony, it doesn't really matter. I think is what in the end of it is. For me though, it's you love thyself, and then you love thy neighbor as thyself. So if you love thyself, and then you love your neighbor as you love yourself, if you get to that home of love, you go where you are called. You listen. If you do good, you will be good. That was my old saying. If you do good, be good. And I still think that's true. If you just go around doing good, you're going to be good. If you do, but I was like, well, if I have this thing in sales that if you're going to be good, why don't you just be great? Why be good? Be great. So then I changed it to do great, be great. And that, I don't think it's as strong actually as do good, be good, but I really like it because that leads into be grateful. And I really think that that's what our purpose is. If you gain abundance and if you compound your interest, which is what people do with money, they compound their interest, but you can also do that with your goodwill. If you compound your interest, you can give it. So if you're tithing 15% or 10%, whatever you're tithing on a daily basis, if you create your abundance to be so bountiful that your 15% spreads so far that it literally lifts like your entire area, you can do that spiritually, I believe. If you judge me, you will be judged. There is nothing new under the sun. What was true yesterday may not be true tomorrow. If New Day to Start ever caught wind, come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me. Hey, I did that on the fly. All right, I'm going to do my little bells. I missed. All right, let's try this again. Call in my soul tribe. I did the Bill Clinton bite of the lip. Let's do it without that. All right, reset. I do this kind of stuff a lot. I like to try to finish things out. That works? That's good. Whew. Well, that's the first video I've done in a while. I do feel like there is a spiritual thing to it. Whenever I do this, it is a release for me, and I really do enjoy it. So the fact that I've lost all viewership of my videos really doesn't concern me at all. I do truly think, though, that this idea of New Day to Start, if people did this, I'm really gaining a lot from it. And I do think it's helping my life. So I would encourage people to try to, you don't have to publicize this stuff. You could just do it and then watch it back. I used to watch these videos over and over again of myself. It was awful in the beginning. It was egocentric. It was helping me though, but I don't even do that anymore. The one thing I like about what I'm doing now is once I finish this, I move on. It's snap my finger and move on. And I like that about it. And it's just kind of my thing. So it's long-winded. If you like it, give it a like. That helps encourage me to keep going. But I obviously am going to just keep going regardless of what you do. So I hope everybody has a great day out there. Do great, be grateful. We're at 15. That's not horrible.